In this unit, we'll be talking about different types of security attacks. There are many similarities, yet many fundamental differences between computer and physical security. Just like real-world security, the motivations for breaches of computer security vary between attackers, sometimes called hackers or crackers. Some are teenage thrill-seekers or vandals. Similarly, some website defacements are done to make political statements. However, some attackers are highly skilled and motivated with the goal of compromising computers for financial gain or espionage. For those seeking to prevent security breaches, the first step is usually to attempt to identify what might motivate an attack on the system, how much the continued operation and information security of the system are worth, and who might be motivated to breach it. The precautions required for a home PC are very different for those of bank's internet system and different again for a classified military network. Other computer security writers suggest that, since an attacker using a network need know nothing about you or what you have on your computer, attacker motivation is inherently impossible to determine beyond guessing. If true, blocking all possible attacks is the only plausible action to take. To understand the techniques for securing a computer system, it is important to first understand the various types of attacks that can be made against it. These threats can typically be classified into one of these categories. A passive attack monitors unencrypted traffic and looks for clear text passwords and sensitive information that can be used in other types of attacks. Passive attacks include traffic analysis, monitoring of unprotected communications, decrypting weakly encrypted traffic, and capturing authentication information such as passwords. Any data that is transmitted over a network is at some risk of being eavesdropped or even modified by a malicious person. In an active attack, the attacker tries to bypass or break into a secured system. This can be done through viruses, worms, or Trojan horses. Active attacks include attempts to circumvent or break protection features, to introduce malicious code, and to steal or modify information. These attacks are mounted against a network backbone, exploit information in transit, or attack an authorized remote user during an attempt to connect to an enclave. Active attacks result in the disclosure or dissemination of data files or modification of data. Denial of service attacks are designed to render the system unusable. Attackers can deny service to individual victims, such as by deliberately guessing a wrong password 3 consecutive times and thus causing the victim account to be locked, or they may overload the capabilities of a machine or network and block all users at once. These types of attack are in practice very hard to prevent because the behavior of whole networks needs to be analyzed not only as of small pieces of code. Distributed denial of service attacks are common where a large number of compromised hosts, commonly referred to as zombie computers, are used to flood a target system with network requests, thus attempting to render it unusable through resource exhaustion. A distributed attack requires that the adversary introduce code, such as a Trojan horse or backdoor program, to a trusted component or software that will later be distributed to many other companies and users. Distribution attacks focus on the malicious modification of hardware or software at the factory or during distribution. These attacks introduce malicious code, such as a backdoor, to a product to gain unauthorized access to information or to a system function at a later date. Attacks in which one or more of the attack types above are launched from a third-party computer which has been taken over remotely is called an indirect attack. Indirect attacks are attacks in which one or more of the attack types are launched from a third-party computer which has been taken over remotely. By using someone else's computer to launch an attack, it becomes far more difficult to track down the actual attacker. In direct attack, someone gaining physical access to a computer can install all manner of devices to compromise security, including operating system modifications, software worms, keyboard loggers, and listening devices. The attacker can also easily download large quantities of data onto backup media or portable devices such as key drives, digital cameras, or digital audio players. Another common technique is to boot an operating system contained on a CD-ROM or other bootable media and read the data from the hard drive this way. The only way to defeat this is to encrypt the storage media and store the key separate from the system. In phishing attack, the hacker creates a fake website that looks exactly like a popular site such as the PayPal. The phishing part of the attack is that the hacker then sends an email message trying to trick the user into clicking a link that leads to the fake site. When the user attempts to log on with their account information, the hacker records the username and password and then tries that information on the real site. In a hijack attack, a hacker takes over a session between you and another individual and disconnects the other individual from the communication. You still believe that you are talking to the original party and may send private information to the hacker by accident. In a spoof attack, the hacker modifies the source address of the packets he or she is sending so that they appear to be coming from someone else. This may be an attempt to bypass your firewall rules. In a password attack, an attacker tries to crack the passwords stored in a network account database or a password-protected file. There are three major types of password attacks: a dictionary attack, a brute force attack, and a hybrid attack. A dictionary attack uses a word list file, which is the list of potential passwords. A brute force attack is when the attacker tries every possible combination of characters. A computer virus is a computer program that can copy itself and infect a computer without permission or knowledge of the user. The original may modify the copies, or the copies may modify themselves, as occurs in metamorphic virus. The term comes from the term virus in biology. A computer virus reproduces by making possibly modified copies of itself in the computer's memory, storage, or over a network. This is similar to the way a biological virus works. Some viruses are programmed to damage the computer by damaging programs, deleting files, or reformatting the hard disks. Others are not designed to do any damage, but simply replicate themselves and perhaps make their presence known by presenting text, video, or audio messages. Even these benign viruses can create problems for the computer user. They typically take up computer memory used by legitimate programs. As a result, they often cause erratic behavior and can result in system crashes. In addition, many viruses are bug-ridden, and these bugs may lead to system crashes and data loss.